This is Illogical Projects, and this is episode number 4 on the Z31 build series. I'm going to install the timing belt, install the distributor, assemble the air intake system, install the wiring harness, and finally fire up the engine. Stay tuned. Okay, so off camera, I have installed all the AC, the alternator, and the power steering, although I'm missing a bracket for power steering, so it will not work when I get the car running for now. I also installed the intake tubing and installed the sprocket for the timing belt. A bit hard to see, especially with the sun in the way. Yeah, it's difficult to see. I just take the camera off. I installed the back plate and a sprocket for the timing belt. So next thing I'm gonna do is do the timing belt and the ignition light, and then reassemble the engine. A little bit of press on time, so I'm only gonna explain the timing belt and the ignition, and then everything else I'm just gonna leave the camera running. But anyway, I'm gonna do it the Nissan way. First things first, make sure you loosen the rockers shafts on both sides, so they're not pressing against the valves. Makes it easy to turn the camshaft by hand. Next thing is make sure they're all lined up. There's a dot on the camshaft here. It lines up with a little bump on the cover. Same thing on the passenger side. And there's a dot on the crankshaft sprocket that lines up with a mark on the oil pump. And then just loosen the tensioner and just put the belt back on. A lot of the aftermarket belts have timing marks to help you install a belt. You don't have to worry if the belt is not perfectly aligned, because the teeth will just line it for you. So let's get to work. Okay, timing belt is now installed. What I need to do now is to verify that it's installed properly. After you check, make sure the timing marks are aligned. I want to make sure the engine's in neutral, and then just turn over the engine by hand. Make sure it turns freely. The rocker should not be connected at this point, bolted on tightly at this time. Next thing you'll do is take off the valve covers. And what you want to do, come on. Hold on one moment. Okay. Once you get the timing belt installed, I want to take out the AC compressor and then take out the valve covers. And what you want to do is, and Nissan does not like to make things easy. What I want to do is I want to slowly screw in a little bit at a time the rocker shaft, and every once in a while turn over the engine. There should be resistance from the valve springs, but you shouldn't feel any valve hitting the piston movement. Okay, once I got the rocker verified that the engine turns over fine without hitting any piston to valve hitting, you can put the valve cover back on and bolt it down. And now I'm just going to just continue with the engine reinstallation, reassembly process, I meant. Okay, so the timing is completely done. I already put in the crank pulley, all the components, and I already put in the valve train components and ready to tie down the rocker cover. So next thing to do is install the distributor. First thing you want to do is make sure engine stop dead center and the timing marks are lined up. And then want to there will be an indent on the distributor here, and there should be a bump here, and there should be indent here. The idea is that since the gear is curved, as you slide the distributor in, internally it will rotate a little bit. But Nissan want, so how Nissan want to do it is line up the indent here with the bump here, protrusion there. And I already replaced the O-ring. The old one is pretty crispy. And what I want to do is just double check everything's lined up, and just push it straight down. There you go, got it in. Now I want to verify, I could take off the distributor cap on the surface mount unit. I'll show you how it's supposed to be when at top dead center on cylinder 1. So right now I'm just going to bolt it on and continue. Okay, so I got the ignition system, the distributor installed, and I got the ignition system wired up. And then right now the upper intake plenum is just resting there. I might do further work, although I'm need to stop temporarily as some events going on. So yeah, I'm just probably gonna just do a time lapse. Okay, so almost ready. Oh, that guy needs to go under. Uh oh. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I got this side of wiring and hosing almost completely connected. I just got some hose clamps to install. Along, I have this mystery wire here. I have no idea where it goes to. But my issue is that I have been called in for work. So, and I'm kind of a little bit hurting for money. Maintaining cars like this is fairly expensive. So I'm going to end the day like this. I still need to wire up the other side. And what's the other one? Install the throttle body and most of the intake system. So I'll probably get the car running the next day. Come on. This is logical projects. I'm not a huge fan of Japanese connectors. And wow. And so much hoses. Come on. There you go. This is, I don't know which is this. PCV hose. It's now on. Go. Wow. Getting really close. Getting really close. Okay, so this is the next day. I already finished wiring up and connecting all the plumbing up, everything on this side. Although there's some loose bits and here and there that needs to be finished. I'm gonna start finish up the wiring on this side. I already plugged in all the injectors along with most of the intake ducting. We're in the home stretch. Can't wait to get this car running.
Till the day that I die, swear to God that I put that on my life, and I'ma try my best to love forever, doing lying. I'm a spaz, baby, I'm a nightin'. I'm a glide, take off and fly, yeah. If you wanna stun me, nigga, keep on trying. If I leave, I'm not leaving in silence. You won't see me crying. You gon' see the fire in my eyes. If I go, I'ma start a riot. I'm fighting for my life, yeah. I'ma give y'all everything tonight. If I leave. If I leave, I'm not leaving in silence. You won't see me crying. You gon' see the fire in my eyes. If I go, I'ma start a riot. I'm fighting for my life, yeah. I'ma give y'all everything tonight. If I leave, I'ma fight till the day that I die. Swear to God that I put that on my life, and I'ma try my best to love forever, doing lying. I'm a spaz, baby, I'm a nightin'. I'm a glide, take off and fly, yeah. If you wanna stun me, nigga, keep on trying. If I leave, I'm not leaving in silence. You won't see me crying. You gon' see the fire in my eyes. If I go, I'ma start a riot. I'm fighting for my life, yeah. I'ma give y'all everything tonight, tonight. till I stop breathing. Fist up till I start wheezing. Haters gone forever, hate me for no fucking reason. I'm speeding, I'ma keep trying. I'm going, I'ma keep riding. Even though life tries to hurt me every time. And if I leave, I'm not leaving in silence. You won't see me crying. You gon' see the fire in my eyes. If I go, I'ma start a riot. I'm fighting for my life, and I'ma give y'all all of me tonight. If I leave, I'm not leaving in silence. You won't see me crying. You gon' see the fire.
Okay, so I have test fitted this ducting off camera, and I bought new hoses, although they're universal hoses, and I found out that due to the bends that the original OEM hoses require, and the fact that I'm just using a not so flexible universal hose, it won't I cannot use this new hosing because the when I tried bending it, it would pinch and cause airflow restriction. So I decided just to use the original factory hose, even though it's kind of hard as a rock and it is cracking, visibly cracking. But I'll replace those eventually. But for now, this is what I'm stuck with. Maybe I could get... Although maybe I might replace this one because it's kind of bad also. Oh well. Okay, so I got almost all the intake ducting done. I got all the electrical done. I installed the accessory belt for the alternator water pump. I've filled up, changed the engine oil with new oil. I added in fresh coolant. And then pretty much the car's almost ready to start except for the missing intake tubing. I need to buy new hose clamps. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to turn over the engine and just turn it over, prime the oil system, and make sure it turns over properly. So let's get going. Oops, need to double check connection. Yep. Okay, second attempt. Okay, let's turn it over. That's weird. So something's wrong with the coolant gauge. Oh. It's not even connected. Oops. And even though there's no fuel in the lines, for some reason it was firing. So, okay. Weird. There's no obvious leaks. not sure if the sensor is bad or something. I didn't really see much movement in the gauge, but yeah, close temperature sensor is working now. I don't see much movement in the oil pressure gauge, so I'm not sure if it's just the gauge itself, or the acting up, or the sensor, or if it's not really building oil pressure. I'm gonna go buy parts and then fire up the engine. We're really close to getting this running. I turned this over. Fine. So far, there's no leaks. Well, there was one leak, but it was just loose clamp. But coolant leak. But yeah, everything's connected. I even have paperwork for this car. So last thing I need to do is just reinstall this piping here that goes to the idle up and other stuff, and then take it on a test drive. Okay, so everything's done. Like we have oil, we have coolant. I gotta double check the oil because I mean reasons. A little bit overfilled. It'll be fine. Got everything buttoned up. Only thing left to do, get ready to connect the fuel pump. Only thing left to do is batteries already connected. This thing started up. Also, I already have insurance and all the paperwork, registration. And been waiting for this. Finally Fuel pump's on. Check those no leaks. So far, no leaks. Okay, start it. It runs! Move it, Smokey, but it runs. Okay, so I gotta flip the throttle because I have rebuilt these valve lifters. I rebuilt the valve lifters and they purge out all the air, so I need to rev it up to 2,000 RPM and let it drop. Smoke and rattling. I shut it off. More noises. I shut off the engine and don't check it. You know, I just forgot to tie in. Crank bolt. Oh, there's a lot of smoke. I'm pretty sure that wasn't me though. Okay, let me just tighten up the crank bolt and then let's fire it up again. Okay, second start. Let's go grab my keys. Besides the smoke, it seems to be running fine. So I'm gonna go take it out a test drive. I'm gonna bring extra engine oil and other things, just in case. Okay, the build is almost complete. But before I end it, there's one more important thing that I forgot to do. Install the valve cover plaque. I know there's not a turbo motor, so we're gonna fix that. Using Scotch tape and a Sharpie. Anyway, some of that smoke was from a leaky coolant line. I forgot to put in a hose clamp. But now there's a hose clamp, it shouldn't leak as much, and well, it's more of it's exhaust smoke from the engine. It's just been sitting for a while. Anyway, just gonna put this guy. Okay, and and then right, not true. There you go. Reason why I don't have the NA plaque is it was stolen. Car was when one of the times it broke down, I had to abandon it and the locks didn't work, and someone just ransacked the cabin and took all my stuff. So anyway, this is what I'm gonna use now. Yeah. Need to find a screwdriver. Okay. Well, this project is far from over. I still need new struts, new tires, new brakes, new exhaust system, and other things. But at least we got this guy on. I don't have a light. Not a turbo. This is a logical projects. I got a car meet to catch.